human trafficking are probably the most dangerous cases that we do on a regular basis. Dangerous in the sense that you can be killed very easily if you're out of the country. In the United States, not as much, although it's getting crazier and crazier in the United States. Everything is answered with a gun. But when you're working human trafficking in a foreign country, you're dealing with guys that will kill you at the drop of a hat. They couldn't care less. And nobody will do anything. Police won't do it, nobody will. So we do extractions from different locations. A lot of times it's a bar. In this case, it was a bar in Europe. I won't say exactly where, because laws were broken, lots of them. And what we do always is find our girl that is working in the bar. We go in there undercover, and I'll send, different agents in at different times, and be very slow about it. You never do anything quick on human trafficking. So in this country, we found our girl who's working, and all of the girls there are there with human trafficking. We are just not contracted to get all of them out. We're there after one girl. So we located the bar that this girl was working in, and then we begin to set everything up. And with multiple agents working on this, as many as 8 at one time, and down to 6 and back to 4, we sent guys into this bar repeatedly, guys and literally guys with a date, without a date, and figuring out where our girl is and where she usually sits. In these bars, the trafficked girls normally sit at the same place. They sit at this table, or they sit at this corner of this booth. It's habit. People are creatures of habit. So once we figure out that, where she normally sits in the club, then we aim everything at moving our girl closer to the door of the club. So what I will do is send in 2 or 3 guys, and one of those 2 or 3 will sit down with her, start talking with her, get an attraction going, looking completely normal, as though you don't know each other, they've never met before, and she has no idea what's going on. So our guy is there with her. He spends a bunch of money. I'm at the bar, another guy's at the bar. We're throwing $100 bills down and spending a lot, drinking. So the next night you go in, you do the same thing. And this time, your agent moves the girl to another table that is closer to the door. And you do this again the third night. And each time that you go there, you're doing recon. You're checking. You're seeing who's there, how many people they have, where are the guards. Outside, there's 2 big burly guys standing by the door. So we keep moving our girl closer to the door. When we get her at the closest table there is to the door, we also had a white van down the street. There's a lot of people involved, and there's a lot of planning that goes into one of these extractions. And at the right moment, the van would pull down to the club that we were at. So the object now, once you've got the girl moved closest to the door that you can get her, and you've accomplished that, now you've got some regular customers that come into the place, and we're spending money. And 2 guys, whoever, this took a couple of, like I say, 2 or 3 weeks, whoever is at the bar starts a fight. And there's a signal that I'll give inside the bar, and that will start the 2 guys at the bar fighting. And then everybody will get involved. They'll throw a drink so it gets in somebody else's face, And the only rule I tell everybody is break everything you can inside the bar. Make as much noise as you can, because that will bring the two guys, the two bodyguards who are guarding the door outside, it will bring them inside to manage what's going on. At that moment, as soon as those guys come in, the van pulls up and the guy with the girl that we want rolls out of the seat that he's in, out the door, into the van. Now at the exact same time, everything, the bar back is being broken, the mirror is being broken, everything, every noise you can make shattering is being done. So everyone's attention is at this end of the club. He rolls out, the van pulls up, they go in, the van takes off. Now we have within 2 minutes a switch car, and the vans, usually two vans will pull up, and right in the middle, one van going this way, one going this way. They will pull up, the doors will open up, the people will switch, literally, and go the opposite direction. And then sometimes we'll have a safe house. It depends on how quick we can get across the border. I mean, it is timed like a bank robbery. So depending on how fast you can get across a border, any border, you don't want, obviously can't go to any airport. As soon as that happens into the van, then I start pulling money out and start throwing $100 bills. I don't care what it costs, thousands of dollars on the table. I'm going, wait, everybody, and I try to calm everybody down. They're trying to calm the fight down, and I immediately get everybody's attention by the pile of money that is sitting there. And I go, look, I'll pay for all the damages. I'm sorry. My buddy started the fight, whatever the story is. And then I start going, whatever it costs, how much did that cost? How much? And keep them busy. Then we leave, everybody exits the place, and they immediately start a head count. And they start to count all their girls. And they will find that one is missing. They'll look around for her. By the time they figure it out, we've already been in the switch car. We're either at a safe house or we're across the border. And that's how you do an extraction. And you hope no one gets shot. You hope nobody pulls a gun out. But usually they don't, because they're doing human trafficking. They don't want a lot of attention. They do not want the police called. That's the last thing they want. So no matter what you do inside the club, they're not going to call the cops. They're just going to beat the shit out of you or kill you. And usually they're not going to want it to get to that place. But if it does get to that place, then they'll just dispose of your body. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. They do it. In fact, the mafia that has human trafficking girls, when they're done with them, they cut the girls up and put them into a 50-gallon drum of acid, and they have nothing until there's nothing left but little pieces of bone, and then they take that and they spread it out in the desert. Because if there were a whole bunch of dead young female bodies found out in the desert or any place by the border, all hell would break loose. And there would be a huge, investigation and everything else. They don't want attention, but they are subhuman people. They will do whatever it takes to sell a woman. There's more money in it than there is cocaine, anything. It's one of the biggest criminal enterprises growing now. We caught a human trafficker one time years and years ago. My buddy and I, and my partner and I asked the guy why because this particular group of criminals had never gotten involved in human trafficking. They were always involved in drugs. And I asked him why he switched. I said, why did you switch from drugs to human trafficking? And the guy looked at me really cold, and he said, I can sell a pound of cocaine one time. I can sell a woman 1,000 times. and it's good business.